right, live from Studio 6B, 2 minutes past the hour, top of the hour on a Wednesday night. Of course, September 11th, 2024. Slick's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's here to the news. Kevin Downey Jr. is going to join us as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in. Welcome on in, everybody. And every year, this day is always brings with it different thoughts. I feel like we did last year's 9/11. I feel like this year's gone just so fast. I can remember, telling the same story that I always tell on this night, on this day. But I found it fascinating. First of all, it's fascinating that it's 23 years already.
Yeah.
23 amazing. Years is amazing. And I'll tell you what really was amazing. And I always watch, obviously. I didn't stream this morning, and I should have said this last night, and I apologize if you were looking for it. Obviously, this morning's not the morning to stream and talk politics, and I thought it was more important to honor and watch the remembrances going down at Ground Zero, which I always do, because, of course, I lost that day one of my best friends and college roommate, Kenneth Marcus Caldwell. I had just left first period after I was still teaching at that time, and I remember walking down the stairs into the assistant principal's office, and kind of it all unraveled from there. But what was amazing so I always like to watch his name get called. Sometimes his mom is there. She was not there today. But I always watch it called, and I did this morning as well. But what was amazing this morning was how many young kids, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, there, reading the name of their grandfather or their uncle and then following it up by saying, I never had a chance to meet you, but I've heard stories. These kids weren't even born just to show you how long it's been. It was striking this morning. I don't remember feeling that in past years, maybe because I don't know if today they just had more of them. But it was striking to see how many young people who weren't even alive are still affected by that day, that the world changed and this country changed and many of our lives changed. And I took notice of that this morning as I was watching his name get called and watching all of the names get called. And listening to these young kids who are talking about their grandfather and talking about how they've had to get to know them through stories of other family. And you look at these kids now, they're almost adults, and think, man, they weren't even around. They didn't even know their grandfather or their uncle or their aunt or their cousin or whoever they were talking about. And it was... it was striking this morning as I was watching it, Delgado.
Yeah, I was watching that too, and I was surprised and it caught me by surprise. All these kids that were 12, 13, making those points, saying, I learned about my uncle through this and through these stories, and it was just like, wow. And you don't realize the lasting impact this has had on people. I mean, I work with a guy, everybody asks, oh, where were you when it happened?
Oh, sure.
And he's like, well, I was 5, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's like 5. And then it dawns on you, it's like, this was a long time ago. And to see how it still affects people, viscerally, it's just, it was a huge, huge day for so many people on so many different levels. And it's not something, with certain things, when somebody passes away, you figure, okay, after a while, people get over it, they move on. But this is not one of those, this doesn't have that, because it was so widespread and affected not only our psyche, but our country in so many different levels, that we're still dealing with today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the striking part of it this morning is these, they're like adults now. They're up there, Obviously, they've been alive now for, let's say they're 16. They still, they've had years where they were alive, but obviously not old enough to, now they're like adults. They're up there and they're saying, I never knew my grandfather, but I know that he was also a fan of gymnastics and he's with me in my gym. They're now relating it to them. They feel that they have that sense of loss, even though they're, they weren't here for the loss. I really took notice of it this morning. It was just one after the other of these young kids getting up there.
Yeah, there was one kid in particular that stood out, and it kind of caught my ear. It caught part of what he was saying. In that, I think it was his uncle, and he said that the family sees the uncle in him because of his love of baseball. And I thought that's, again, that's that connection. And I guess that's why people have such a problem. Maybe problem's the wrong word, or it's something that still affects them on such a deep level. So it's not really a problem. It's just, it's still affecting people.
You haven't ever seen the, I don't think it was a 30 for 30, but the one of the best things the ESPN ever put out was that the man in the red bandana. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
I think so.
I shared it on our X today. You haven't watched it, you really should watch it, because it really puts in, obviously, we get caught up in the debate last night and we're arguing over things that are certainly important to us, but you want to talk about what really matters, man. Watch that. Yeah. And that's what I tweeted today, or whatever we're calling it now, Xing. What really matters. You watch that story, the selflessness of that story, and of saving countless lives that day, and the whole story behind that red bandana. I mean, it's quite an unbelievable, and they did a great job in producing it. It's absolutely fantastic. Very moving. So that's on our X as well. Slick, obviously you have a lot of remembrances, I'm sure, of this day as well.
I mean, this morning was a great reset from what happened last night, that debacle, which we're going to get into, I'm sure, ad nauseum tonight. But this morning I was driving in, I always talk about Holbrook, where I'm the president of the chamber. We lost 5 guys in Holbrook, 5 firefighters. One worked for, I think, no, they were all NYFD. And I happened to be driving in, and, it was very eerie. The day was very similar. Beautiful September day, relatively clear sky. And it was I had a meeting at like 8 o'clock. So I was just cruising in around 8. And I had the radio on. I was listening to Fox News. That's what I had on and able to listen to about the debate. And then they stopped. And as I stop at the stop sign, I'm thinking about, 9/11, the impact it had on us. And the announcer comes on and says, how about all the fallen firefighters, back on 9/11? I look to my left, and there is a sign that we dedicated 23 years ago to a fallen firefighter. Literally at the stop sign. I looked up, and there was the sign. That was a moment for me. Why? Because I was at that dedication for that firefighter, John Crishy of Holbrook, who perished in the 9/11. So just unbelievable. And that, for me, I called it the Great Reset this morning driving in. It really kind of put things in perspective for me. Like you said, Big D, it was important what happened last night, but nothing holds a candle to what happened 23 years ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and it was nice to see President Trump was down there. J.D. Vance was there. President Biden was there. Vice President Kamala Harris was there. Chuck Schumer was there. Mike Bloomberg was there. I did not see Rudy Giuliani. Was he there? Did I just miss him?
I don't know. I don't recall seeing him either.
I don't recall seeing Rudy there. But obviously they had a very nice collection of people there. Couple of the people who took the stage, had some choice words for the president. Yesterday, of course, can barely talk. I mean, a reporter on his way, I think, out of the White House said something to him about his schedule, and he said, "Well, tomorrow I'm doing 9/11."
Yeah,
if like he's doing Carson.
I'm doing
Carson tomorrow night. It's like as if he's. Well, that woman got up and called him out. Did you hear her?
Oh yes,
actually, yes. I think we have that.
Oh, good.
Wait, what woman?
One of the women who was up there calling names.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Her husband perished.
Ended with her husband's name, as they all end with somebody who's a personal relationship to them. She had some choice words.
Fire.
For President Biden.
No, I didn't see that.
And using the term I'm doing 9/11 as if it's like a talk show.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't be there tomorrow. I'm doing 9/11, that thing that they make me do.
Yeah.
That thing for that place up there.
Yeah. So, but it's always a somber morning, obviously.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it's 23 years to step back through that morning and to hear the bell toll at 9:03 and then 9:17 or whatever. I think it's 9:17 and then 9:31 of the different times, man, I tell you, you can just put yourself right back into exactly where you were.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember standing in my classroom after the plane hits at 9:03. At that point, they don't know what it is. Certainly didn't know it's a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But after the second one at 9 whatever, I can remember calling. I probably called Kenny's phone that morning, I don't know, 100 times. And every time I called and there was no answer, I got this just pit in my stomach. And I thought, well, he's probably, I always thought that the phone was going to ring back.
Right.
Yeah.
I think even up until that night when I got home after it was all over, I thought he had to get out. Yeah. 23 years.
Yep.
Amazing. All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B, just getting started. On a Wednesday, we'll get to your remembrances as well, all throughout the night.
Yeah, folks said Rudy was there. He was like 4 deep.
Okay. We're live on the socials. Wherever you're watching on, make sure you hit the like, subscribe. We appreciate if you do that. Hello, everybody.
Howdy. I got to log
Chuck
in.
McCoy on Facebook. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Rudy was there. People are saying, okay, I didn't see him.
Yeah,
I figured he was.
Deep. Well, they said in the chat, I saw they said he was 4 deep, so find a few people. But yeah, America's mayor. He should have been up front, man.
Bill on Facebook. Hello. David Lacrosse on YouTube. Big D finally got a haircut. Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh.
Thanks for noticing. Sue on YouTube. Hello.
I got a haircut too.
Which one?
All of them.
Really? Is that what they do to it? They
you
cut
did
it
a while ago, though.
Saturday.
Do they have to chase it down first before they cut it?
Nah. They strap it right on. These are my chin straps right here.
Slick had an extra 0 on his bill than mine. I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You pay like $30.
Yeah, $30. That's the tip I give.
I'm talking to him.
Washes my hair. The girl washes my hair gets that $30.
30, and I give him 10, so it's 40 total.
Yeah. Well, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good tip. My tips, forget it. My tips are more than $40.
Well, your bills.
No, my bill's reasonable. What I spend like like $150 or something like that.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah, well, I get my hair colored too.
Really? You get it colored?
Are you kidding me? I'd be whiter than Damon's shirt if I didn't color my hair. I'll admit that. Come on now.
What about? So do you do the same with your little angry man stash?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sure.
Look at that.
Absolutely.
Just for men over here.
I'm giving the tricks of the trade. This is behind the scene information that nobody could care less about.
I used to really, I used to get on in the old days. I used to get on Vin's case because Vin's a good looking guy, and he's one of those guys that the gray looks good, right?
Yeah, he looks good. Yeah,
and so Vin used to come in, and he used to have like what looked like shoe polish in his hair, and I used to say to him, "Why do you do this?
Well, because
just roll with it, man. You're a good looking guy."
That's because he wasn't spending $130. He was using $5.99 just for men. 2 for $5.
It wasn't even that. I swear. I think it was shoe polish. I just didn't understand it.
He just didn't have the right color.
I said, Vin, if you're trying to hide that, what else are you trying to hide?
Why would you go there?
Terrible.
Well, no, because it's not a reasonable thing to assume if you're trying to hide that.
I'm hiding plenty. That's why I'm on this show.
Oh, God, I used to hammer him about it for 4 years. So we did it. It was like a running joke.
So when did he finally just let it go?
Well, the first time he came back on a couple weeks ago, man, did you hear me? I said, it's good to see you. I don't know.
No, I didn't hear that. Well, because I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here. Yeah. All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Slick's going to do some sports. Delgado's here. He's going to do some news. Kevin Downey Jr. is going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And obviously the news of the day is recapping the what happened last night in the most scripted, biased political event in recent memory. And to think about, I mean, it kind of happened at the end of the stream. We were just about getting off. And I was so frustrated with the whole night. But down to the Taylor Swift I mean, who in their right mind thinks that she just decided, I think I'll just do it tonight.
Yeah. Enter stage right. Come on, sweetheart.
That whole thing is so scripted. Kevin Downey Jr. is here. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm waiting to hear what Nicki Minaj has to say about the big election.
She's back at Red Lobster waiting tables. What are you talking about?
I mean, that whole thing was so scripted that she releases that right after the debate. I'm sure it was planned to come down either, no matter what went down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you just are. I'm sorry. I know John Solomon. I love John Solomon, as everybody knows, and he knows way more about all of this than I ever will. But I think I could be misquoting him. I hope I'm not, because that's the last thing I want to do. But as I was getting ready to join them in the post, and I couldn't hear everything because we were doing our own post. I think when they patched it in, and I could hear him, I think he was just saying that he did not think that she had any lead notice of anything subject matter-wise or question-wise. I mean, I'm sorry. I just cannot get there.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that somebody who has not done any interviews, we've seen what she's like, the word salads that come. We've heard her in front of the microphone. We've seen her travel the world, do press conferences where she can't answer questions. You're telling me all of a sudden you have the most skilled and polished politician since Barack Obama last night is what we got, and you don't think she knew what was coming? You don't think she was prepared with every one of those little speeches, those little digs? They just all conveniently fell in her lap on the subject matter? They let her talk about abortion for 15 minutes. They talk about January 6th. You don't think she knew that those subject matters were coming? I mean, I find that bordering on implausible that she didn't know. Implausible.
Yeah.
Because you'll never convince me that what we saw last night and was really her, because she couldn't do that well. If it was just walk out here and we're going to start asking you questions, as bad as the questions were, by the way. You think about where this country's at, where people are at. And he does not get off with no fault, because the first question, and I said this on stream, was actually the perfect question. Are you better off? What have we been saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Been saying it for about a year.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? They teed it up on a big tee and gave you a big fat driver and said, Bryson DeChambeau, swing away. Should have been 400 yards down the middle for Trump on that thing. After she didn't even answer the question and went on in some nonsense. His first words out of his mouth were, well, I don't have tax rates. She knows that. We're going to do tariffs. And then he went into tariffs. Never got to, are you better off for, which is the essential question we have been saying.
Yeah.
Needs to continue to be hammered and hammered and hammered to the voters. There was such an opening there to take advantage of. It was a mile wide, and it was not taken advantage of. And that happened consistently throughout the night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And you know what? I was a little perturbed by what I saw, but I'll equate it to sports. I'll equate it to this. Say you've got say you've got Aaron Judge on your team.
Okay.
Right? Now, I'm an Aaron Judge fan. I'm a Yankee fan. I expect a home run every single at bat. And I think my confirmation bias may have gotten in the way of seeing what exactly happened last night. All right. Did he take some swings and misses? Yes. Did he connect on a bunch? Yes, he did, actually. But my confirmation bias told me I need a home run every single time he opened his mouth. That's why I was left disappointed. But that's on me. Now seeing it 24 hours later, and you start seeing some of the things that come out, and you start saying, "Oh, the betting sites, they're not changing anything, are they?" Huh?
Well, that's not true as far as Polymarket goes. Polymarket started the night with him up 53-46, I think. Ended the night tied at 49.
All right. Well, I wasn't looking at Polymarkets. I was looking at some of the other ones. But anyhow, when you look across the board, and Bongino pointed this out, did last night's performance change your vote?
No, most likely, I'll bet for most people it did not.
There you go.
And Vin said that on the post show.
So to me, that was the bottom line. Is it going to get him any votes? I don't know. But if you look at CNN and CBS and some of the people they had as independents, they're actually saying they still don't trust her. So maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. And again, my confirmation bias, because I wanted a home run every single time. When I heard her go through that list of lies from the Very Fine People hoax to the January 6th stuff to her being at the Capitol when she was not at the Capitol when this went down, and he didn't pounce, I got to believe there's a reason why. And I wondered, I'm like, does he want to come off sounding like a conspiracy theorist? Probably not. That may be why he let this one lay. I don't know. But
I'll tell you,
to me, those were egregious.
I'll tell you the other thing that I have to wonder about. If you're being honest, if you're not being honest with yourself, then you don't wonder about anything. You just think, oh, it was a great night. But if you're being honest with yourself, you have to wonder about the people preparing him. Who were the people around him? Who was doing this? I know Tulsi Gabbard was involved. Every time I heard Tulsi Gabbard talk about preparation, and whatever camera she was in front of, she said, we're going to stick to the issues. We're going to hammer home to the American people where they are, why he's the vehicle of change in their lives. But other than her, who else was around him prepping him for this? Who got him on the, again, it doesn't even matter if it was right or wrong. Who got him on the cats and dogs and duck thing right away? Like, who prepped him with that? Somebody gave that to him and said, use this.
Yeah.
He didn't just come up with that, whether he knew about the story or not, but somebody prepped him and gave that to him saying, this will be beneficial to use. I guarantee you that happened.
Or maybe he saw it for himself, because it didn't sound like it was well rehearsed. It just kind of came out. Yeah.
Came out in the first answer when the question was, are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Was it
he
that
went
early?
to tariffs.
No, was it that early?
I don't think it was that
The
early.
Ohio story?
I believe it was his first answer. They're
No.
eating the dogs, I think.
I don't think so.
I think it was his first answer.
I don't think so. We'll have to check the tape.
So, Kev Downey Jr., you were not here with us last night. You were doing PJ Media stuff. I'm very interested, if you know, I don't know how much you know, what people at PJ Media, well, first of all, tell me what you thought, and then tell me what, I have a story from Matt Margolis, so I know what he thought. I'll go over here, but what did you think?
I thought everyone saw the bloodbath. Oh, there's that word that came out of the first debate with Biden, and we were all like, whoo. But there was no way ABC was going to throw Kamala overboard the way they fed Biden to Trump. They fed Biden to him, and I think a lot of people were hoping for that. I was disappointed. I thought he got his feathers ruffled. I noticed some technical things that some people may not have noticed. You'll notice Trump was leaning in like this. They didn't put his microphone in a comfortable place, and he didn't think to move it, whereas Kamala's was perfectly set. It's stupid stuff like that when people are watching and he looks uncomfortable, and maybe that helped him to get angry. I don't know. But once he started getting flustered, she played on his ego, and that's where she got him. And that's where she got him off track.
The rallies thing was really that was where it started.
Yes. Absolutely. So I was hoping for a knockout punch. Didn't happen. I think he handled the gang fight, which is what it was, as well as he was going to handle it. The fact checkers, they were wrong. They were wrong on so many things. They said, well, there's no states that allow abortion after birth. Well, actually, you're wrong. Tim Walz's state is one of them. They had so many, they stopped counting them because they just didn't want it anymore. Let's leave this stat out. It's an ugly stat.
All right, more Kevin Downey Jr. and our thoughts on last night, and then we'll get into some of the what's out there. What did other people think? What do the numbers say? We'll get into all that. Plus, we'll do sports and news live from Studio 6B right after this.
So I just sent you the transcript from last night, but Trump's first answer was about tariffs.
Yeah. Where did he go to the dog thing?
It's more than halfway through.
Yeah, I thought it was a while.
Was it a while?
It's in the first half, definitely. See if I can find the question.
Yeah.
Slick, did you pick that suit up from Archie Bunker? Michael Martin on YouTube wants to know.
I'd love to see what the hell that guy wears. I really would love to get a snapshot of him. I'd like to see him at his prom. No, it's okay. Hey, this is in style, this suit. I only bought it a year ago, so I don't think it's out of style yet. But yeah, Archie Bunker, I'll take that. Listen, I missed the days of Archie Bunker. That was TV, man. When you actually had freedom of speech on network channel. And that was CBS, right?
Do we talk about those magical earrings yet?
No.
They're in the chat already. Yeah, those were Delgado earrings. You know, the beam me up earrings. Somebody called it a Nova One something.
Yeah. No. So you're all going to be Debbie Downers now.
No, I didn't get a chance to speak. You didn't let me put my 2 cents in. I went home and I reevaluated.
No, it was great. Actually, we're not. We're jumping up and down for joy.
What do they mean by now?
That's a good point.
That's a very good point.
That's a good point too.
I think I'm hearing it.
No.
Hey, Aaron, can you talk to me for a second, please?
Well, you should hear yourself, and you should hear us.
Talk
too.
to me.
Yeah, I don't hear. No. Don.
Aaron, you don't remember 9/11 at all, right?
Sure, you got another one?
You learned about it.
Thank you, sir.
Right. I was just saying, anybody under, I wouldn't say, 30-year-old might. Wow. Oh. Our birthday's the 7th. So. Wow.
Damn.
Jeez.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Of course, September 11th, as we remember 23 years ago. And that day that changed the world, changed the country, changed a lot of our lives, and still has a big effect on a lot of people. We saw a lot of it this morning. Some of these kids, it was very moving, as it always is. So, Kevin Downey Jr. is here. We were talking about the debate when we had to go to commercial break. So you want to pick up where you left off? What were you saying?
I was saying I was waiting for a knockout punch. It didn't happen. I thought it was going to happen. Kamala looked a little nervous early on. She was
very nervous.
Yeah. I thought, oh, he's got her. This is over. You know what? I will say this. Kamala came off as wildly unlikable.
Yeah, well,
wildly.
Yeah. Oh,
unlikable.
that face.
The acting and the positioning of the hands under the chin and the looking and the mouthing of whatever she was mouthing, the nose and the this and
that hit the turkey neck a little too far.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
She's twice said, "Oh, I'm an average girl from the middle class." And no, your parents were bigwigs.
Average Marxists.
Yeah, average Marxists. There you go. So many lies. The Federalist came out with a list of 25 today, which says more than I was able to count, but I counted a lot, and I noticed how she got away with it. And that Muir guy, I'm sure he's set for life. This is the way the Marxists work. You do what we tell you to do, and you'll have a nice house. You'll have lots of money. So I'm sure those two clowns are going to be working for ABC forever. I noticed that they immediately said, hey, we should do another one of these. And I thought, okay, now they've gotten a taste for it. Maybe this is where Trump gives her, the Popeye Twister punch and knocks her out.
I mean, the moderator's performance is one of the more embarrassing things I can ever remember. I mean, I'm sure Trump did not go into the night. Maybe he should have. I'm sure he went in thinking this could be,
You would think.
I don't think he thought he was going to be battling 3 women. No,
Right.
I mean, it's just 3 on 1.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, and their performance was just the questions were completely irrelevant. They waited halfway through. I mean, no questions, any serious questions on the debt, on inflation, on servicing the debt going forward, on jobs. I mean, we barely got any on any of that. Nothing on China, nothing on any of these topics when you look at what affects the American people. I mean, again, I thought the only real question he had to pounce on, I thought there was missed opportunities that he could have gone back throughout the thing and refocused to the issues, was the first one. No question about, we talked about immigration, but nothing about, terrorist cells in the United States. I mean, the threats to the U.S. She came off sounding like, the moderators would say, basically to Trump, you have this policy here that sucks. Why don't you tell us why it sucks? And then they'd go to Kamala and go, well, do you agree with us that his policy sucks and he did a crappy job of telling us why it sucks?
Right.
Well, give us your thoughts. Do you have any thoughts? I think at one point he said, do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, it's like, do you need something to drink before I get to you?
Right.
Yeah.
Would you like me to scratch your back?
It's almost asking somebody, asking them a question, including, so when did you stop beating your wife?
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it is. They set you up so you're already 2 strikes down in the count. Again, another baseball reference. Aaron Judge, hopefully he hits a home run. But again, that's what their job was, right? That's what it was going in. Everybody knew it. And again, you look back 24 hours and I started finding things and I'm like, wow, what did I miss? Because I didn't, again, my bias was I wanted a home run every single time. I want the knockout punch. This from the LA Times, Trump missed the moment, it says, but he's in better shape at this juncture than in 3 other tries. So what does that tell me? He may have missed the knockout punch, but he's still leading this race and probably in pretty comfortable fashion. And then you start seeing the clips. And I think we have a couple of them. Let me see if I can, I know which ones they are. About, let's see. That's the resident, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I have it, unfortunately. But you start seeing the clips from CNN and CBS. I mentioned about these voters who said, you know what? My life was better under Trump. Mm-hmm. I trust him more. And this is from people on CNN. They got to be scratching their heads going, well, what did we miss? Obviously, again, coming from my angle, I wanted to see the 12-run home run. Didn't happen, so I'm left with just a win.
All right, 35 past the hour. I'll get into Matt Margolis over at PG Media had some thoughts entitled, his article entitled, "It Looks Like Trump May Have Helped Himself in the Debate." And we'll get into why that headline is what it is. But right now, let's do some sports. 35 past the hour. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. LFSXP is the code to use if you shop at MyPillow as we gear up getting into the middle of September, into the holiday season, whether it's for Halloween or obviously as we get into the holidays, as you head towards December. If you use our code, we appreciate it. We'll always try to make it a better offer for you by giving you one of our shirts for free. If you use our code, send in your receipts to lfsxb@yahoo.com. And we'll send you out a shirt of the month absolutely free if you use LFS6B as your promo code when you shop at MyPillow. And they sponsor sports. Slick's got it. Slick, what's going on?
Well, I had it all teed up for my Wednesday morning quarterback here. I was going to talk about the debate and how I felt post, but I'll get right into sports. Here we go. Scoreboard.
Well, no, of course. Tell us what you thought. I mean, last night you left here, you were kind of...
Well, I'll tell you, I was basically speechless at the end of the night because I was afraid I was going to drop more F-bombs than Andrew Dice Clay back in his heyday. I mean, I was really beside myself. That's I get caught up. Like when I watch sports, you guys know I get very emotional and I'm very irrational and I get very upset. And I didn't like the way things went last night for the president, like a lot of us. But then when I went home, just like I do with football, I'll watch the tape and then I'll see what happened and what transpired. And I'll do a lot of reading. I only slept an hour and a half last night. I had an early morning meeting. I know Rick said he didn't get much sleep last night. I just couldn't even sit down. And I rewatched the whole entire speech. And when I rewatched it, you know what? I felt he did a lot better than people gave him credit for, and I think a lot of people saw it. I heard the independent poll, there was an independents, are trending more with Trump on a lot of the issues. There's somewhere I saw it on Fox. I don't know if you saw that. And I said, you know what? The independents, coming off RFK and that switch, I think they're going to be the sensible vote, and that there may be our refuge. That's how I feel. But as far as her, yeah, we know it was scripted. It was an actress. Voting for her for president is like voting for it's like going to George Clooney for an ER doctor. It's the same thing. He's not an ER doctor. We know that. She's not a president. It was an actress. That's all it was. It was, you had the DNC, which I related to the Wizard of Oz, and I was hoping the president could, President Trump that is, pull the curtain back on the Wizard of Oz show that we saw last month. Fortunately, that didn't happen. He was cornered by three people, right? You had David Durr and Lindsay Davis. It was really, really terrible what happened with the president, but I'm glad to see how I felt afterwards that I really do think he redeemed himself, Big D. I think he was a lot better than it was. I'm with you. I know you were very upset, and rightfully so. But when I went home, I talked to my wife, who's a little more voice of reason. I don't think he did so bad. You go back and you really watch it, and Rick said it as well. I think he did pretty good, and I think the independents may save us. We know our folks are good. We know they didn't change at all. Dems aren't going to change either, especially with Swifty now, right? 280 million followers, but I think only 20 million can vote, actually. All our followers are under 16.
And she's very good at picking men, as we all know. So.
She's very good at picking a lot of things, Big D. She's ruining poor what's-his-face's career there, Kelsey. So, but that's why that was my take on that. Exactly. You don't go to George Clooney for an ER doctor. You don't go to Kamala Harris. It was scripted. She's an actress. The president was cornered. I'll tell you, if I was cornered like that, I'd be swinging too. You're going to insult events that I have, rallies that we know that was a complete bold-faced lie. Then you have 5 fact checks against the president. 5 times they want to correct him. Her, 0. You saw the stat? 0. How is that fair? It's not fair. Nope. So that's why I got my little guy out here, and that's how I feel. So that was my take, Big D. I just wanted to get that in.
What specifically, when you watched back? I mean, his closing statement was very solid. What made you think that maybe it wasn't I don't think any of us ever thought he did bad. I just think we were focused on the fact that she was so rehearsed, so scripted, and they were so in the tank, they were almost licking her with the setups, with the way they posed the questions, with the subject matter, with the time they allotted for the subject matter. So when you went back, it wasn't that the president didn't do what he always does and get through the subject matter. He didn't capitalize, I think, on times that he could have capitalized to get back to talking to the American people. That was my biggest thing. Well, obviously, the biggest thing is the moderators and how they helped her, not necessarily how they hurt him, because obviously one has one to do with the other. But what specifically, when you watched it, was it his answers? What was it that hit you the second time?
It was his answers. I like the way he filleted her on the foreign policy. I thought he did a nice job about bringing in Ukraine. I thought about bringing in Israel as well. I also like the way he delved into the relationship of telling her right to her face that Joe Biden, he hates you. And you know what? He knows that. He's got inside information on that. I thought that was really good. And I thought he put her in a place on several occasions, and he did get into the economy. When he said, people can't buy cereal, they can't buy bacon. I don't know if it's that extreme, but people certainly can't buy it at the right price, or they're just buying bacon, or they're buying cereal, but they ain't buying the boat that they used to enjoy. So I thought he did a good job on the economy. Yes, they could have did a lot more, but I thought his answers were very good. I liked, again, how he filleted her on what's going on in Ukraine, and I didn't like the fact that they said, "Did you ever meet Putin?" I thought that was a real they backhanded him a little bit with that. But I did. I like the way he reacted. That's President Trump. He's full of fire. The man is he's passionate, and sometimes people they mistake passion for frustration. So that's how I saw it through my eyes. I didn't think it was as bad as it was, given, of course, the sham that they set up and the way they backed them in. Purely a complete hoax there.
Yeah, if people want to say Kamala won, yes, Kamala won versus Kamala. I think that's where she won. She beat everybody's expectations of what they thought Kamala would be. Or Kamala. I don't care what a stupid name is.
Kama?
Right.
La 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 la
she
la
beat
la.
what everybody thought she was going to be. In that respect, yes, she won. But, when Reuters has got people, independents saying that they're leaning towards Trump after the debate, it's like, well, what did I miss? And it's because, again, I go back to my bias. I wanted the big home run.
Yes, I completely agree. I listened to people call into Buck and Clay today, and a lot of them are saying, I think he did pretty well. I don't see the problem. And they were saying, "You've got to be kidding!" But they have the same mindset we have.
Exactly.
We were expecting and wanting the KO, and it didn't happen.
And she never answered the questions.
Never.
She never answered questions. That's probably why they couldn't fact check, because she wasn't really answering questions. The whole thing was really just the whole. It was a sham, is what it was. That's why you have Lindsay Davis doing it. So I got time for some scores. Big D. Let's kind of break. We just about done, but
Well, you got it 30 seconds.
okay, baseball.
45 seconds.
Big games. With that, we got 16 games left in the Major League Baseball season. 15 after tonight for most of the clubs. So Phillies right now lead the Rays 3-2. Bottom of the 7th. Top 4 Nationals over the Braves 4-1. Braves are looking to catch the Mets. Mets and Braves going back and forth. Cincinnati Reds lead the Cardinals 1-0. This season's over. It's been over since July. And the Pirates down the Marlins 3-1 earlier today. Guardians over the White Sox 6-4. Mets 6-2 over the Blue Jays. So if the Braves lose, Mets are looking good. We have the Padres and Mariners coming up at 9:40, and it's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, live from Studio 6B, we'll do some news. Kevin Downey Jr., Rick Delgado, both coming up when we get back right after this. All right, we're live in the social media. Wherever you're watching on, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up.
Yes.
Old Texas grandma. She says that her Hebrew national hot dog 4 years ago was $3.79. Now it's $8.79 for a package of hot dogs. Huh? Man, oh man, talk about pork barreling. Oof, that takes it over the top.
Bucky's fan on YouTube, what's going on?
Bucky's fan, she's a great follower. I love her.
Love the hat, Kevin. Someone said on YouTube.
Thank you.
David Pearl says Bongino gave President Trump a win over Harris.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Pointy toe shoe.
That's right, brother.
Damn.
I got a pair of red boots today that came, Delgado. Woo. You got to. I didn't wear them today though. You got to see these guys. Woo. They are crazy. The heel, it's like a marble red. Crazy.
You see, they got the old folks got Biden to put on a Trump hat today.
Yep.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. Pretty good.
I heard that Trump was sending Kamala a MAGA hat. That was a great one. He said that. I love that. He said that this morning. I think he was on Fox Business this morning. They had.
He was on Fox and Friends this morning.
Oh, Fox and Friends. Okay.
He says, "No, I don't want to do a debate on Fox."
I don't think he wants to do a debate.
He doesn't want to do it with Martha and Brett.
Yep.
I don't know.
Why not on Real America's Voice?
I don't know, that'd be a good get. Well, Harry will effort that. Don't worry. We'll be all ready to go. Damien will be down there. It'll be on 6B. We'll be all set, and all of a sudden, the plug. Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
It'll be at the warehouse. Wait.
It's the cord.
Harry forgot to send in the property taxes. They got to cancel the show. Do we know if the locksmith is coming?
Oh, no. Let me... Maybe if I just...
Where is Harry?
I don't know. He was in Philly yesterday for the debate. I think he's back now.
Okay.
right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. News is brought to you by 7Cells, 7cells.com. 10% off if you use code LFS6B. Rick Delgado's got the news. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Of course, we were talking about we've been talking about the debate pretty much for most of the show at this point. One of the big moments, of course, is when Donald Trump started talking about what's going on in Springfield and about things that are happening there. And, of course, what did the other two Democrats decide to do? Well, they decided to say that wasn't actually happening, but we know it is. All you have to do is go online. You can see some of these clips from these people explaining what is going on in their community. Check this out. Here is cut number 5, talking about the migrant crisis right there in Ohio.
So,
what are the most difficult challenges right now?
the difficult challenges are we have at some point in time they have to move here to somewhere else, right? We don't have the services to take care of 50 immigrants, and we certainly don't have housing. We're in a housing crisis as we are on this island, and so we can't house everyone here that lives here and works here. We don't have housing for 50 more people.
Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't Springfield, Ohio. That was Martha's Vineyard, complaining about 20 migrants that got dumped on Martha's Vineyard, about a year and a half or so ago. And it took them all of 44 hours to get them off that island. So just to let you know, the Haitian migrant crisis was so much to tolerate for the people of Martha's Vineyard. It took them all of 44 hours to clear these people out and dump them someplace else.
Oh, so wait, what was that clip from?
That was actually from Martha's Vineyard about a year and a half ago. Remember when DeSantis sent them up?
Yeah.
That's where he sent them? That's what she was talking about. I apologize. I know people are probably thinking about Springfield, Ohio, but I just want to remind you that this has been going on for a while, and you can see when it happens in a ritzy Democrat enclave like Martha's Vineyard, they waste no time, less than 2 days, to clear out the dirties, the unwanted. So there you have it. Here's an actual resident from Springfield talking about what's going on in their community. This is cut number 6.
I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city. I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered with garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti, angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by. Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play. Relieving themselves in public. Making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop. What will become of Springfield? Where will we be in 5 years? The thought terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This thought is keeping me awake at night. I just want the old Springfield back. I know it was far from perfect, but at least it was still ours. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's, again, coming from one of the residents of Springfield.
Well, we called the second cousin of the chief of police. Third,
the mayor of Springfield.
And there's nothing going on there.
Right.
We called Bart Simpson.
According to David Muir.
Yes,
and,
David Muir told us none of this
is going on.
No, he checked.
Even Eric Swalwell got into the act, just losing his S over a meme. Check this out. This is cut number 1. You can't make this stuff up.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, "Protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio," because he goes goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets? My God.
That's what the resident who lives there just said.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Because last year, for a very long time, you tweeted and promoted Kanye West as he was calling for genocide against the Jews, and you kept it up. And now, when we have victims coming here, you're tweeting this nonsense. I don't know why you would do this. I hope you're okay. I don't know if the aliens who are eating your ducks are in the room with us right now, but Mr. Chairman, this is a serious issue. These people have loved ones who have been lost, and you tweeted this.
Yeah.
I'm Fang Fang, and I approve this message.
Exactly.
Can you believe that's happening in the House of Representatives? In the House of Representatives.
It's
He's doing
shameful
it.
how
Yeah.
low these people will go.
Yeah.
By the way, how good is the AI getting? That's a great picture.
That is
Yeah.
a great picture.
That
And
is
there's so
great.
many of those memes floating around with ducks and cats just running around Trump saying, "Save us."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. And it was one of the big moments where, again, the moderators decided to step in and say, no, that's been debunked. There's no evidence. We talked to one person who's, of course, going to tell us exactly what we want to hear, though cut number 7 shows a different aspect of what's going on. Look at it from some of the pets who live there themselves. Check this out. As they avoid the migrants and try to escape.
Talk about a catwalk. Wow. Look at that. Whoa. They're hightailing out of there. Wow. Oh, look at that. Any clawbacks?
Look out.
Look out!
Man, when
I'm in the Marines.
they see a Haitian, this is what happens to the cats in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That looks like the cat's by the Chinese restaurant around the corner from me. What are you talking about?
Anyhow,
That's a different story.
One last bit of news, changing gears just a little bit, coming out of Newsweek. They're asking a very interesting question. I don't know if you saw this clip about Elton John, but they're asking, has Elton John endorsed Donald Trump? Veteran musician Elton John has weighed in on Donald Trump's support of his music.
Yeah, sure he has.
Though he has stopped short of endorsing the former president as he vies for a second term in the White House. With the upcoming election dominating the headlines, Elton John was asked about claims that Trump had a nickname for North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, Little Rocket Man. You can watch this clip for yourself where he talks about this. Here's Elton John, cut number 4.
I know that you're not a supporter of Donald Trump's. He loves your music. How did it feel when he took the lyrics to Rocket Man and he used it as a nickname for Kim Jong-un, and then he gave Kim Jong-un
I laughed. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought, good on you, Donald. I'm the Rocket Man, yeah. Donald's always been a fan of mine, and he's been to my concerts many, many times. So, I mean, I've always been friendly towards him, and I thank him for his support. Yeah, when he did that, I just thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh.
He gave Kim one of your CDs and signed it. That was in one of the books about him, because Kim, I guess, didn't know the song. So,
what's that?
He gave Kim Jong-un the signed CD.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
he'd never heard of it.
I know, because he hasn't heard of me, Kim Jong-un. I'd be very surprised if he had. I've never toured North Korea, and I have no intention of doing so. But it was. I thought it was a light moment, and it was fun.
Yeah, so there you have it. From Sir Elton John.
What do you know? A guy who's not so...
That was 2 videos. The last one was Get Back, Honky Cat.
Get back.
Honky Cat.
All right, 4 minutes till the hour. Oh, man, that's the end of hour 1. Holy Moses. All right, hour 2 coming up. Kevin Downey Jr. next.
Down here, love our show down in the bayou, Big D. Come on.
Well, it says that I guess everybody, the staff and everybody from the Saints are going to be staying at the stadium.
Oh, good. The Cowboys played them Sunday too, so oof. They're getting ready for the big dap.
Get back, honky cat.
It's Hurricane.
Better get back in the
and
woods.
it's a cat too.
Yeah, it's a cat too.
No,
that's
it's okay.
right.
Regular open. Till I miss those days.
Oh, that's a great song. I tell you, Elton actually looked pretty good. How old is he? 100 now? He looks great, man. No, Elton's got to be. He's probably like 70.
You were doubting that story, weren't you?
What story?
The Elton John story.
No, I had seen the. I saw
you
clip.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought you made it like, yeah, okay.
No, I watched that. That's why I said no. Sure, yeah, sure, yes. No, I mean, obviously didn't endorse him.
Well, you like
Mike on X says, Damon, you've got 10 reads here. That's a good one.
But if you listen to the opening of the question again, the question, we know you're not supporting Donald Trump for president. We know you're not voting for. It's like,
yeah, but at least Elton had.
That.
I mean, Elton showed that he could at least have a little fun with it. He wasn't so stuck in the mud. Oh, yeah, I don't like this guy. He's a threat to democracy. I mean, just please stop sniffing glue, all of you.
Do you guys have the audio of the guy calling the cops in Springfield to say, "Hey, there's." You want it?
Saying what?
Oh, hey, there's 4 Haitians walking around. They each got a goose.
Yeah, I was going to send that in, but
I think everybody at this point knows that the story is real, and Muir has no idea what he's talking about. Muir probably knew it was real. He just,
just lied.
Yeah. Get back home. Better get back. If you're watching on socials, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate it if you could do that. Remember the question I asked Harry? Slick?
What's that?
I said, do you remember the question I texted Harry before that you asked me?
Yeah.
He says, totally forgot.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. This guy's waiting for his call.
All right, hour 2 live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, September 11th. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado is doing the news. Kevin Downey Jr. is going to have some thoughts and news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in. If you're watching on social media at LFS6B, pretty much everywhere. On Instagram at LFS6B Show, although Instagram is now turned into basically my pictures of Tucker, which is basically what my Instagram has become. It's pictures of me and my dog.
I know that world when it comes to Instagram.
And I get more traffic on me and Tucker than I do on me and talking politics. So
Instagram's a happy place to be.
I'll just continue to post pictures of the dog on Instagram and leave the politics for other places because people seem to like the dog better than me.
You better believe it.
I like the dog better than me. So
yep.
Lots to do in hour 2. We'll get to Matt Margolis's piece. It looks like Trump may have helped himself in the debate. Matt Margolis, the great Matt Margolis, friend of the show, over at PJ Media, where, of course, you can always get the great Kevin Downey Jr. as well. Margolis says, I don't think it helps to just say what people want to hear. The truth matters. And the truth is that it was not a great debate for Donald Trump on Tuesday night. I suspect he did little to no debate prep in advance, and every time Kamala baited him, he took the bait. It goes without saying that Kamala Harris lied her way through the debate, but the moderators didn't fact-check her not once, yet Trump was fact-checked between 5 and 7 times, and the fact-checks themselves weren't even accurate. Perhaps because of what I do for a living, Mr. Margolis says, I'm extra critical of Trump's performance. I've been pointing out for days now that what Trump needed to do in the debate and seeing him miss opportunities after opportunities was beyond frustrating. But according to a report from Reuters, undecided voters largely shifted to him after the debate. Quote, Kamala Harris was widely seen as dominating Tuesday's presidential debate against Republican former President Donald Trump, but a group of undecided voters remained unconvinced that the Democratic vice president was the better candidate, the outlet reported. Reuters interviewed 10 undecided voters before and after the debate. 6 of them shifted towards supporting Trump. 3 leaned towards Harris. 1 remained uncertain. That's a rather solid outcome for the former president. Although the sample size was small, the responses suggested Harris might need to provide more detailed policy proposals to win over voters who have yet to make up their minds. And again, this goes back to not only what Delgado said in Hour 1, which was reporting on this exact story, but it goes back to what we talked about on the Sunday New York Times Siena poll. 68% of people said the country needs real change. 64% of those people who said that needs change said that she doesn't represent that change because she's basically an identical twin of Biden. And Trump represents that change. And they would need to know a lot more about her policy positions to be able to pull the trigger for them. So that clearly has not gone away with this debate performance. And why would it? There was no policy that she even tried to cover. The little policy they even asked about, January 6th, no policy there. Abortion, yes, okay. They let her drone on for 15 minutes, nonsense. Project 25, national abortion ban he'll sign. Things that he literally is on camera over and over and over and over saying, I wouldn't do and I'm not a part of. And they just kept hammering it. But according to this, if this Reuters survey is any indication, Trump may have helped himself last night.
Yeah. Again, it's that bias. We all wanted to see the haymaker, you know?
Right.
We all wanted to see what we saw in June, where it almost seemed like he wasn't trying. Joe Biden was that bad. But we just wanted to see a continuation of that. We didn't get it. We got a 1-for-4 night, maybe an RBI and a double, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Didn't move the needle. Didn't lose any place in the standings.
No.
Still going to the playoffs. So.
And listen, as Matt Margolis says, maybe winning the debate is not the goal here. Maybe the goal is getting undecided voters to move on to your team. And if he achieved that last night, then that may be the only goal he needs to worry about.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, it's a base election. Neither base is going to get swayed by that last night.
Right. And like John Solomon said after the show, the great John Solomon, he says, in a couple of days or another week, they're going to forget about this debate. It'll be on to the next thing, Just
October 1st, we have the VP debate.
That'll be a home run. I have great expectation for JD in that.
And I don't know how they're going to avoid policy there with JD. Good luck on CBS doing that. Although if they have what's her name from Deface the Nation on there, she'll give it a good try because she's brutal too. Yeah, brutal. All right, let's do some news with the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show, 10 to 11 weekday mornings out here in the New York market on 103.9 WLI News. That's Kevin Downey Jr. What's going on?
Thank you, sir. I love this. As you know, I've made it my career now to clown slap the communist. And wouldn't you know it, as you may recall, folks, Eric Adams, if you're friends with him, the FBI is going to take your phone. It's just a matter of time. And they took away his police commissioner's phone. This comes from the New York Post. This kind of got lost in the shuffle. Everyone's talking about the debate, and no one seems to be talking about this. I shall read in my broadcaster's voice. A top aide to embattled New York Police Department Commissioner Edward Caban is associated with shadowy groups that do the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party, the Post has learned. Lin Guan, 49, the assistant director of the Police Commissioner Liaison Unit, was previously vice chairman of a nonprofit linked to a web of CCP-controlled community groups and school associations. That's the important part for the moment. This is a communist group that is linked to community groups in New York City and school associations. That's terrifying. It's called United Front. He's been there for 12 years. How did he get the job? Well, he was handpicked by Mayor Eric Adams despite having very limited police experience. Well, that's what one story says. Another one backtracks, and a guy who didn't want to talk suddenly said, "Oh, that came from the police department as a deputy director. We don't need the mayor for that." So now they're all saying, "No, he didn't do it." They're not covering their own bahookie, but they're sort of covering the mayor's bahookie here. But here's the sick part. I think it was about 10 days ago we found out that Comrade Kathy Hochul had a Chinese spy as her deputy chief of staff. We also know Eric Swalwell had his Fang Fang, Bang Bang, and then we've got
Dianne Feinstein, remember, with the old the old limo driver.
Yeah, the crypt keeper herself had a Chinese spy for 20 years, her limo driver. I am finding Chinese spies all over the joint, but only in regards to Democrats. Take that back. Mitch McConnell, I've got my eye on him. But this is huge. They're expecting the police commissioner to quit soon. He's going to have to step down. This is not the first time that Mayor Eric Adams has had his myrmidons swarmed by the FBI. Now, but this is new. This is a Chinese spy in his midst that he may or may not have hand-selected, despite the fact that this man has no real experience with the cops. But we got to watch this united front, because this is CCP controlled, and they're going after community groups and school associations. That means the commies are in the New York City school system. This is too close to home. We got to keep an eye on this. Remember, New York City had a secret police station from China that no one did anything about until everyone was talking about it. And then Mayor Eric Adams shut it down well after the New York Post was blaring it. So this, I'll keep an eye on this, Big D. This is potentially huge. This means there could be Chinese communists at the highest ranks of New York City, in the city hall and in the police.
Well, we were wondering what was going on, and it'll get it's kind of the drip effect here. So, well, they had didn't they have police? Did you just say this? They had police stations. Remember, they were opening police stations. Yeah.
Yep. Secret police station downtown. In Chinatown, to be exact. And supposedly all they did was help people renew their Chinese driver's license. But what they were really doing is they were looking for pro-freedom people, pro-democracy people, and then they would target their families at home. And by target, I mean one woman, they shut off her mom's water, and then they painted something. It sort of translates into traitor on the house. That way, remember, the Marxists are big into their humiliation. They always have been, especially in China. I'm not kidding. There are pictures from Mao's Red Guard. They're seating people with the big dunce hats. This is something they do. They're big into their humiliation. So now your mom doesn't have water, and everyone thinks she's a traitor. Well, that's what it says on the building. I'm sure people know better. But that's what's going on there. And that police station supposedly shut down, but there's one in L.A. I hear there's 5 in Toronto. But, when your dad is Fidel Castro and you're Princess Trudeau, you're probably okay with that.
Well, if the Chinese are infiltrating New York, you have Iran infiltrating the Biden administration, remember, in the State Department and other places as well that we kind of forgot about. So, well, but none of this is important enough to bring up at, let's say, well, I don't know, a presidential debate. There we're going to talk about January 6th and abortion. Not the Chinese influencing and infiltrating into New York, and Iran infiltrating into the Biden State Department. Those kind of things, not important enough to talk about. We'll stick with women's rights, abortion.
And remember, Big D, Trump had something called the China Initiative, where his people were actively chasing Chinese spies. About a month and a half into office, Joe Biden said, we don't need to do that anymore because that's racist.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't screw up the family business here, too.
No, of course not.
All right, what else, Kev?
So check this out. I love this. This is back to Springfield, Ohio. They are eating the gooses. I swear to God, they are. We've got audio of them. Guy calling in and said they're eating the gooses. But this is the better part. The townsfolk with their pitchforks are looking to throw out the entire town, the entire city commission from Springfield. They're in the process now. They're throwing everyone out. They're trying to recall all of them over the 20,000 Haitians. Keep in mind, folks, as Rick said earlier, it's 44 hours that 25 of them lasted on Martha's Vineyard. Well, I'll be honest. We know that Joe Biden is no fan of blood red Ohio. Remember the train derailment in East Palestine? I think he waited a year or something to go in, and now he's dropping off Haitians. This is his way of getting back, I believe. Why else would you do that? Why else would you send 20,000 people to this town? The town said, that's it. We're after them. And the reasons, look at this. The current members of the commission have breached their public responsibilities. The commission has created an untenable housing crisis. What's going on is we're paying these people to be here, and we're giving them money for rent. And they're going to people saying, oh, that's $1,000? Well, we'll give you 18. And it's not their money. So people, especially elderly people who maybe sold their house and they have an apartment, they're being chased out of their home. So now the citizens of Springfield are chasing these people out. This happened about a year and a half ago in Michigan, my home state, where a city council voted unanimously to allow a Chinese communist battery company in. And they had a recall. They threw out every one of them. Now, this is how you fight back. You throw the commies out at the local level, and you build up. So bravo to Springfield, Ohio. It's about 40 minutes west of Columbus, I believe, if you're looking for it. So this is huge. They're trying to take their town back, and I applaud that.
All right, very good. Kevin Downey Jr. will do some more news. Actually, before we hit the break quickly, throw up my screen here, Aaron. Major Garrett was on CBS talking about maybe that Reuters report. Listen to this.
And so I talked to 20 voters. Not one of them was undecided.
Wow.
Not one. Not one. And headlines come and go, but let me tell you this. Support for former President Trump is real and resilient. I encounter that everywhere I went. And that's something the Harris campaign knows, recognizes. It's a fact in Michigan. And so,
yeah, real and resilient. All right, more sports and news coming up live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Throw my screen up, Aaron, and give me a little audio here. So here's it's from behind him, but here's, I guess, the longest we've been able to find video of today of Biden.
Put it on. Come on. There's no mentor. Spencer do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now. Hey, there it is. Thank you. There's good. You're talking fried chicken. I don't hope you like it.
He said to him, can I see that hat?
He may be voting for Trump. Who knows?
You know what? Put it on. Come on. There's no mentor. Spencer do a selfie. There he goes.
Oh, man, get a shot of that.
Hey, I'm proud of you now.
I think Biden's had it.
Yeah, he sounds like he should be sitting at that table with them all.
Yeah. There's good. You're talking fried chicken. I don't hope you like it.
I just sent you guys the picture of the screenshot from in front.
Sounds
somebody
punch
took.
drunk.
Sounds like he's 82 years old is what he sounds like.
Yeah, and he had too much of grandma's punch there.
Now you're an ageist.
Oh, you're an age. Yeah, he's an ageist. Right, exactly.
Damon, you got birch gold here.
Then 9 other reads, according to the chat.
We'll save those for Friday.
Okay, cool.
We do have a guest at 9:30, however.
Today?
Yep.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, I gotta find the name. Somebody new.
Birch is the only one here?
Yeah.
Oh, sound like a blues rider.
I think it's Arthur Feisenmeyer.
Artie! Can't wait to get on. Hey,
Sounds Like the Blues, live from Studio 6B, 17 past the hour. Let me talk to you about our friends at Birch Gold. Did you know there's nearly $1 trillion of infrastructure and pandemic funds that are yet to be spent? That's right. There's a massive amount of money that a lame duck Biden administration will be trying to push hard to spend in their last few months. If Biden can push out these funds, we could see another prolonged inflation surge, just like during COVID. And I'm sure you remember the terrible effects that high prices had on Americans. But there is hope. A surge in prices can be beaten. How do you do that, Damon? Well, a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group is the ultimate inflation hedge for your savings. To see how to protect your IRA or 401k, get a free information kit on gold by texting the word America to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold's special offer has now been extended all the way through the election. When you make a purchase at Birch Gold, they're going to give you free Trump silver coins. These unique collectibles depict President Trump defiantly raising his fist after the attempt on his life. Don't miss your chance to own this one-of-a-kind piece of history preserved in a silver coin. Protect your savings from Biden's spending spree and get your free Trump silver coins. All you got to do is text the word America from your mobile device. Take it out, type in the word America, and send it to 989898 today. That's America. And send it to the number 989898. Do it today. Our friends from Birch Gold. And see if Birch Gold and gold as a hedge against inflation is right for you. You got a 401k or an IRA sitting there, and you're worried about what's coming. Recession coming. Dollar devaluation continuing. Pretty soon they got to turn on the money printer. Well, one way to hedge against inflation is with gold. Almost at all-time high right now.
Yeah.
All right, Birch Gold. Check them out. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll get back to some news with Kevin Downey Jr. and Rick Delgado, but let's do some sports right now. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell and MyPillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Get you 50-60% off all the great stuff from Lindell. It's an absolute great savings. LFS6B, and of course, we always try to sweeten the deal for you, and we'll give you one of our shirts, live from Studio6B.com, where you can see all of them. Shirt of the month, absolutely free, is on the homepage. You can check it out. You can get that for free if you send in a receipt showing that you used our code this month. Slick, what's going on in sports?
So last night during my post-debate, watching the tape, and I was watching a couple of the talk shows, obviously all conservative shows. I couldn't stomach CNN last night at all. Usually I put it on once in a while just to see what those wing-dings are talking about. But one of the things that they said that they thought President Trump did miss out on was talking about, you might have to fact-check me on this, but I don't recall, about having men in women's sports. That never came up last night during
never
the
came
debate.
up. Yeah,
Which was disappointing. I thought that would have been something to talk about. I know he did mention about the illegals getting transgenders, people getting sex changes in the prison. So he did touch on some of that, but they did not talk about men and women's sports. So here's a story, Rick. I know you love this. We've talked about this in the past, and I love to read it when I hear it. Girls field hockey team forfeits game rather than play against male opponent. This never gets old. That's why I always repeat these stories. Warner, Todd, Houston, and Breitbart want to give these girls credit. A girls' high school field hockey team forfeited a game against another school rather than facing a male player on the opposing team, according to reports. The girls of Dighton Rehoboth Regional High School hockey team in Massachusetts, there's a state for you, right, have refused to take the field against Somerset Berkeley Regional High School because one of the Somerset players is a boy, according to the Daily Mail. The girls were taking advantage of a new school policy that was set in June that allows teams to opt out of competitions against an opposing team because that team includes members of the opposite sex. There are times where we have to place a higher value on safety than on victory, the school district said in a public statement explaining the team's decision not to play against the male player. We understand this forfeit will impact our chances for a league championship and possibly playoff eligibility, but we remain hopeful that the other schools consider following suit to achieve safety and promote fair competition for female athletes, the statement said. The letter goes on to explain that the last time the girls played a team with a male player, one of the girls was seriously injured during the game, right? No surprise there. Last year during a game against Swampscott High School in November, one of the Dighton Rehoboth girls suffered a serious injury that sent her to the hospital after being hit in the face by a shot made by a boy on the opposing team. Following the injury, my teammates were sobbing, not only in fear for their teammate, but also a fear they had to go back out onto the field and continue a game playing against a male athlete who hospitalized one of our own, team coach co-captain Kelsey Bain wrote, at the time, the traumatic event sheds light on the rules and regulations of male athletes participating in women's sports, she said. For his part, Somerset Berkeley Superintendent Jeff Schoonover insisted that his school follows all the rules laid out by Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, which allows boys to play in whatever category they wish. So obviously that guy does not get it, but hopefully a lot of the other teams do boycott. They all take a loss, take a knee, and then let this team be the undefeated team. I hope somebody goes in and rips them apart. Yeah, but that's really just terrible. So that was that big D on that. And I got another story real quick I'd like to get to. Rick actually sent this to me last night. I didn't get a chance to get to it. Kind of surprising, right? Big star here. Adrian Peterson ordered to turn over assets to pay a $12 million debt. This is from ESPN and Microsoft News. Former NFL running back Adrian Peterson has been ordered by a Houston judge to turn over numerous assets as a means towards paying a debt that is estimated at more than $12 million. So unbelievable.
Wonder why he would have to turn over assets and not just turn over $12 million. I mean,
apparently
did he make a couple $100 million?
Well,
playing football?
Something happened with that money, Big D, because the court-appointed receiver Rob Burliff requested this order in July and said Peterson is known to have numerous assets at his home in Missouri City, Texas. The Houston judge on Monday ordered constables in Fort Brand County, Texas, to accompany Burliff to Peterson's residency to keep the peace. Peterson's debt issues began when he took out a loan for $5.2 million from a Pennsylvania lending company in 2016. The sum has grown because of interest and attorney's fees, leading to an $8.3 million judgment against him in 2021. No offsets have been made against this judgment to date, the receiver stated in the July court filing. Peterson, 39, last played in the NFL during the 2021 season. I don't think he signed any $100 million contracts. No. He made good money, but remember, he's a running back. They don't make the kind of numbers that the quarterbacks make or even the receivers now. So he just got caught up in a bad debt, Big D, and now he's burning his assets. So the great Adrian Peterson, who was once thought to maybe reset their NFL rushing record, he was on a pace to do so, but he had some injuries. He also had a domestic issue a couple of years ago, right, with his son that led him to miss a few games. But he was the number one fantasy football player some 6-7 years ago. But so Adrian Peterson. That's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. Let's do a little news, and we'll do some more when we get back. And here with that's Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
Yeah, this story coming out, and it's something we kind of haven't addressed yet, but tens of thousands left in the dark as Hurricane Francine has made landfall in Louisiana with a 100-plus mile-an-hour wind. So everybody down in that part of the country, wish you the best and try and stay safe. Hurricane Francine slammed into the Louisiana coast earlier this evening as a dangerous Category 2 storm that knocked out electricity for roughly 190,000 people and threatened widespread flooding as it sent a potentially deadly storm surge rushing inland along the Gulf Coast. We've seen the result of storm surges here on Long Island. Francine crashed ashore about 30 miles southwest of Morgan City. The National Hurricane Center announced at 4 p.m. Central Time, packing maximum sustained winds of 100-plus miles an hour. The hurricane then battered a fragile coastal region that hasn't recovered from a series of devastating hurricanes between 2020 and 2021. The fire chief of Morgan City said that the hurricane quickly flooded streets, snapped power lines, and sent tree limbs crashing down. It's a little bit worse than what I expected, to be honest with you, he said. I pulled back all my trucks back into the station. It's too dangerous to be out there in this. And TV broadcasts from those coastal communities showed waves from nearby lakes, rivers, and Gulf waters thrashing the seawalls, pouring into the city streets and neighborhoods amid blinding downpours. So for the people down in that area, that part of the country, we're thinking about you and stay safe.
Some tornado warnings, too.
And I was watching Weather Nation today, some coverage from them. They were doing great coverage. Eric Fox out there. Great stuff. All right, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do more when we get back right after this. Let's see. Okay. Most white Christians support Trump for president. Majorities in several other religious groups back Harris. Percentage of registered voters who would vote for blank if the 2024 presidential election were held today. Harris or lean Harris, Trump or lean Trump, 49%, 49%. Protestants, 61% Trump, 37% her. White evangelicals, 82% Trump, 16% her. White non-evangelicals, 58% Trump, 41% her. Black Protestant, 86% her, 11% Trump. Catholic, 52-47 Trump. White, 61-38 Trump. Hispanic, 65-34 Harris. Jewish, 65-34 Harris.
What? Jesus.
Yep. Religiously unaffiliated, 68-28 Harris. Atheist, 85-13 Harris. Agnostic, 78-20 Harris. Nothing in particular, 59-38 Harris. So I wonder what he makes of this to call this a landslide for Trump. What am I missing? Or is this maybe they linked to the wrong thing? I don't know. Can we just confirm, is it Meyer, Fison Meyer?
Hey, at 8:30 or 9:30? It's a fast. The show,
9:30.
The show went so fast.
I know.
I can't believe it's 9:30. I was like, oh, is this 8:30? We have a guest?
Fitzenmeyer. Okay, thank you.
I feel like you've been on for half an hour. Man.
And would he prefer Arthur or Art? Okay.
I like Audie, too. Did you get the Taylor Swift t-shirt, Rick?
No, it hasn't come in yet. Did you?
No, I got the Swift at dust. I'm a Swiftie. She's got 283 million followers, but like I said earlier, I think only 20 million can actually vote. And those are the mothers that probably pay through the lungs for those tickets.
Yeah.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's going to have some more news. Kevin Downey's going to get some more news in as well. But right now, please welcome to the show Art Fitzenmeyer. He's a former FBI special agent and senior advisor for Home Title Lock. Please welcome him to the show. Mr. Fitzenmeyer, how are you?
Good. Doing well this evening. Thank you.
Very good. Welcome to the show. I think it's your first time on the show, so you're brand new to the audience. So can you tell the audience and tell us, because I'm interested as well, how Home Title Lock has become so easy to commit fraud here, and some of the key vulnerabilities within the current law and county recording processes that is making all of this possible?
Well, it's really quite simple on its face. We're in the digital age. Everything is available to everyone at all times. I mean, you don't have to be a computer engineer even to be able to go out on the internet and download actually what people think are private documents. All the titles for, and is also known as a deed to many people, are public records in the county recorder's offices throughout the United States. So anybody wants to get a copy of your deed, most of the time they can do it online, but if not, they can just go down to the county recorder's office or send somebody down and get the deed for your address very simply. And then, of course, with AI and all the other features that are available to the cyber thieves these days, it doesn't take much for them to copy your signature, cut and paste it, Photoshop it, to take your signature off your document and put theirs in. What they do is they generate a document from online called a quitclaim deed. And the quitclaim deed, essentially, it's filed and it tells whoever's looking at the file who the current owner is. So they go online, they do a quit claim deed, and it shows that the new person, the false identity, is the new owner of record by forging or photoshopping your name. So when somebody does that, I mean, they aren't doing this for fun. They're going after the equity that's in your house. And they really don't care about the house or you, quite frankly. They will use your house as collateral for as many loans as they can squeeze out of it. It's not particularly difficult. And with the quit claim deed, it has to be notarized, but quite frankly, you can go online and get a fake notary stamp easily. I've done it a bunch of times myself. So they will file a notarized quit claim deed showing that the title to your home has now been changed and they are listed as the owner of record. And once they get that first loan, you're in big trouble. The whole idea is they take that money and they move it a couple of banks offshore or whatever with a false identity. You'll never find it. And the problem is you don't know about it. This is all happening behind the scenes, so to speak, out of your line of thought, line of vision. Somebody will come to your door 90, 120 days later, knock on the door and say, look, you took out a loan, back in February, you haven't made any payments on it, and we're the banker, and we're going to take you to court to get authorization from a judge to foreclose on your property and sell it so we can get our money back. They don't care about you. They don't care about the property. The whole deal for them is to find some way to get that money, and the money is going to come out of your equity. So if you don't stop this right away, this type of thing that can unfold right before your very eyes. It can jeopardize your ownership of the house, quite frankly. So what you've got to do is go get an attorney, go down to the courthouse and try to persuade a judge that you didn't negotiate that loan. That's not your signature. You didn't move the documents around, all those things. And that takes time and that takes money. You've got a good real estate law is really complicated. A good real estate attorney is going to cost you $800 an hour. And this is a civil matter. So they take 2 to 3 years to, sort out before the judges. The banks are going to do everything they can to make it look like you owe this money and that your house is the collateral for this loan. And I ran into one man several years ago, and I've been with the company since 2017. He worked hard all his life, bought 5 homes to use them as his retirement income. And one of his attorneys, one of his renters came to him and said, look, I want to lease. I want to get a new lease. And he signed the document, and he thought it was a lease, but it was not a lease. It was actually a quit claim deed or one of the other documents that they sometimes use. He essentially became the co-owner. It was like the almost like a relative that he insinuated himself onto the deed, and the man signed it because he was 85 years old, quite frankly. And the guy then took out a $160,000 loan as co-owner and took off. And the bank wanted the money, and the judge, after 2 years of this guy fighting and saying he was tricked and he was deceived, the judge ruled that it was his signature, and he had to pay the bank the $160,000 loan back. And he called me. He said, "Look," he said, "I give up. I got to sell the house." He said, "I spent over $50,000 trying to get the place back in my name, and the judge said I had to pay it." So he lost his.
So let me ask you,
20% of his income.
So let's just finish on that story. So how would Home Title Lock have helped him? What do you guys do as far as getting involved? And are you guys doing something that law enforcement cannot do? Is that because law enforcement in this situation, their hands are tied? Tell me about that.
Great question. Thank you. That's why I'm here, quite frankly. the whole premise here is that you don't know about the transaction until the loan's been issued and the money's gone. What you have to be able to do is find out about the change in your title immediately. If you wait too long, then that first loan is negotiated, you're off to the courthouse again. So what Home Title Lock does, we have our own proprietary software. It's ours. We developed it, and we don't. Everybody thinks we got to go to every courthouse in the United States. All the county recorder's offices in the United States digitize and upload all of their title information to central databases. So we have agreements that our software can monitor the title of our subscribers 24/7. And if something touches that title, no matter what it is, our software notifies you, the subscriber, there's something going on with your title, and you should call Title Lock immediately. And then we will work with you once you get that alert, and we will go get the documents, again, digitally, and we'll show you exactly what transpired to trigger the alert. And if it's something you recognize, you forgot you had home equity loan or something like that, then it's no harm, no foul, but you know that your title's safe. But if you don't recognize it, then we have a restoration division that will work with you starting immediately to make sure we prevent any further transactions on your account until it gets back into your name. It's not rocket science, but if you don't do it right away and you don't know what to do, then it gets really complicated, really expensive. It's a legal, financial, and emotional nightmare to last for years, literally years. And in the process, you're sitting there thinking, am I going to lose my house over this deal? So it's very nasty. They have a tendency to be more successful, let's say, with elderly people. And I'm old. I understand this very well. Older people, the elderly sometimes don't notice that they didn't get a tax bill, didn't get a water bill or electric bill or something like that. Some little things that might cure them. And if you don't have Home Title Lock, then you're not going to find out right away. And even if you find out and don't do anything about it right away, then you're just whistling past the graveyard. It's going to haunt you for sure. Now, there are some areas, some county recorder's offices that have a fraud alert system in place. And the problem with that is it's based on their name. Our process uses the property identification number or the assessor identification number, APN, assessor property number, so that there's no mistaking that it's your house. It's not, 123 Elm Street instead of 123 Main Street. It's that 12 or 14 digit number that I nicknamed the nuclear code for each piece of property. So that's what we monitor through that, and that's our guide. If you have it with some other fraud alert operation, it's based on name. So if your name is Cruz or Smith or Jones or Brown, you're going to get multiple, are likely to get, and I've talked to people where this happened. They get multiple notifications. Most of them are not theirs. But in the meantime, you've got to make sure you figure it out. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't think it's mine." And now, lots of times, also when people come to us and subscribe, their numbers get transposed. That APN, that nuclear code I was talking about, the address number, little things like that. But when it gets filed, then it's your title is corrupted, quite frankly. So you want to. When you sign up with us,
you're making it sound like it's very complex, and if it's something you're not, like you said, it's hard to even be on top of it. But if you're not on top of it, and you're not at least have that peace of mind of working with somebody like you guys, boy, it sounds like you could just get lost in this, like almost like quicksand. It can just suck you in quick, and you're going to have no idea how to get out of it. So,
when I saw this company. And they came to me, they were looking for me, somebody maybe endorsed them. I took one look at it and I thought, you know what? I'm in trouble here because I live in California. I have a huge amount of equity, and I thought, you know what? I better get my arms around that right now.
And I'm sure you've seen a lot of this, obviously, from your past life. Obviously, you've seen a lot of crime. You understand how these criminal organizations work, how individuals who would target people like this would work. So, well, listen, I'm out of time, but I loved having you on. It's a very complex thing. We probably need to talk about it again, but thank you very much for coming on. You can go to HomeTitleLock.com to get more information. HomeTitleLock.com. Go there. If this sounds like something that could affect you, go check it out, HomeTitleLock.com. Art, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, just one last thing. If they use Studio 6B coupon code, they get 30 days free.
Oh, very good. Studio 6B coupon code?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. 30 days free.
Yep.
Studio 6B coupon code. HomeTitleLock.com. Go check them out. Boy, you don't want to be on the wrong end of that deal. Woo. All right, we're back right after this.
About a couple hours ago, yeah.
Really? Yeah, there's video of it too.
On purpose? What happened?
No, he didn't push him off. He talked
he talked him off
John,
the ledge.
John Bon Jovi.
He tossed him off.
No, talked him off a bridge. Talked him off a bridge.
No, he talked him off. The
Yeah.
girl.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he say?
Hopefully she was over 30.
I don't know.
Recognized him.
It was a camera from high on the bridge. They say, there was no audio.
I think he started off, look, on a steel horse I ride.
No, I thought he said, I'll be there for you. These 5 words, I swear to you.
Yeah, he said, I'm a cowboy,
That's right.
Oh, God. I heard that guy had 5 wives and they all killed themselves.
He had a major surgery on his voice, too. He's a big, that's a big rock star, that guy.
Oh, I was talking about the guy who we're just talking to.
Oh.
That was so painful.
Artie.
Oh, God.
Artie.
He's the cooler.
Well, it's a lot of information. He's trying to break it down for you.
He's the cooler in Vegas. When someone's winning, they send Artie to go talk to him.
How about all these planes in New York today? Trump. You had Trump Force One. You had Trump Vance. You had Air Force One, and you had her plane.
Wow.
All 4 of them next to each other.
What's up, playing a broom?
That's a good one. Flick.
Oh, is that a broom? That must be Kamala's plane. Oh, man. Oh, man. Come on. Whew, man. I thought I had knocked.
Yeah, there it is. John Bon Jovi saves a woman from jumping off bridge.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Delgado story.
Oh, here's actually a closer video of it. Better video than the one I saw before.
Hey, good for him. That's a heroic thing. I mean, there's so many puns in there, but it's not funny about it.
I wonder if she knew it was. I wonder if she knew who he was.
Well, it depends how old she was. I mean, if she look at the kid who arrested Justin Timberlake, right? He pleaded. What did he plead down or something? The cop didn't know who he was.
No,
he had no idea.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Slick's doing sports, Delgado's doing news, Kevin Downey's doing some news as well. We'll try to get everybody in here. Last segment of the show. Patrick Mahomes is out there. He answered a question today, Slick. I don't know if you saw it. Patrick Mahomes will not endorse a political candidate. Said he's not in the business of using his platform to do that.
Right. Well, he's repeating his stance. He had said that last week as well with the whole, Brittany Mahomes liking the Trump post, which is good for her. But she's certainly a Trumper. That's what I hear.
For sure. All right, we did sports a little while ago. Let's do some news, Delgado. What's up? What do you have left on your?
Well, this story, which we were just talking about in the break, singer John Bon Jovi. I don't know if you saw this. Saves a woman from jumping off a bridge in Nashville, Tennessee, while filming a music video. First question: why is Bon Jovi filming a music video? I don't even know he still did those. Let's see. According to this, which was posted on X by Colin Rugg, Bon Jovi was seen approaching a 62-year-old woman on the John Sagenthaler pedestrian bridge. The musician leaned over the railing before hoisting the woman to safety and embracing her. He said, it takes all of us to keep each other safe, according to the Nashville PD. A shout out to John Bon Jovi and his team for helping the woman in Nashville on the bridge Tuesday night. Yeah. Bon Jovi persuaded her to come off the bridge, off the ledge, over the Cumberland River to safety. Wow. And we were talking, we didn't know how old she was. Turns out she's 62. So she knows who John Bon Jovi is. It's just these days he looks more like Dick Van Dyke than John Bon Jovi. Yeah. Oh my goodness. His hair is so white.
Yeah. He's
it's crazy.
He's getting old.
Yeah.
Voice is,
he had some surgery on his voice.
Kind of shot too.
Yeah. He had surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Delgado, anything else?
And another quick debate story, real quick. This one coming from Newsweek. Newsweek, again, what did we miss? I don't know. But according to Newsweek, on Tuesday's presidential debate, Vice President Kamala Harris went right after former President Donald Trump, his proposal increase in tariffs. But according to this, sorry, Kamala, Trump's tariffs aren't a tax. They're a lifeline for the middle class. And that's the headline coming out of Newsweek. Not exactly a right-wing conspiracy tabloid. The foundation argument is that tariffs are a tax at three sources, blah, blah, blah. But indeed, they're protecting the U.S. industry from deindustrialization. It's a very small price to pay, something President Biden himself seemed aware of, which is why he left them intact. Trump reminded Harris at the Biden White House, where she currently works, not only extended the Section 301 tariffs imposed by Trump years ago, but also increased the tariffs on a number of Chinese-made goods. Tariffs were raised on China's made EVs, EV batteries, solar, and other types of semiconductors. And despite the increase, of course, inflation has not moved higher. So there you have it. Again, what did we miss? I guess a lot of the things that after you wait about 24 hours, and like Slick said, you go back and you watch this, it turns out maybe it wasn't the bad performance we all kind of thought. Again, he went 1 for 4, took a walk, drove in a run, and team still did well. So there you go.
All right, very good. Let's do a little more news before we wrap, and we'll do some sports before that with Kevin Downey Jr., the host of the Kevin Downey Jr. Show. What's going on?
Thanks, sir. Good news. Cyber attacks against the United States are up 70% from last year at this time. That means we'll all be living under martial law by Election Day. Check this out. U.S. utilities face a near 70% jump in cyber attacks this year over the same period in 2023, according to data from Checkpoint Research. The utilities and power infrastructure across the U.S. are becoming increasingly vulnerable as the grid expands rapidly to meet surging demand for power, and assets are digitalized. Let me throw this in. They thought it was a redneck who was shooting at some power box out in the middle of nowhere with a big fence around it, until they realized someone put a 9mm bullet in the one place that would take down power for miles, and the guy happened to do it. So this tells them that this is not a redneck taking pot shots. This is someone who knows what he was doing. They don't know if it's a former or current employee who's got a bug up his bahookie, or is this part of a grand plan. And I will say this, I've written about this for PJ. There have been several hundred attacks on our water. The water, how it gets to us, and the water we drink, several hundreds. And they started on 3 small towns that no one would really think about. 2 of those were in Texas. Keep in mind, we also had a situation where 911 went out in 4 states. One of them was Nevada, one was Texas, and I think the 2 Dakotas. And I guess the excuse was they're putting up a telephone pole in Nevada, and suddenly 911 doesn't work way over in Texas and the Dakotas. None of this is real, folks. This, I'm telling you, there are dress rehearsals going on every day. Every day, and this is just another one. This is 1,162 cyber attacks this year, through August of this year, compared to 689 last year at this point. The energy sector is considered to be more vulnerable to such attacks than any other thing. The water is going to be on it too. And of course, look at this. May 2021 fuel pipeline operator Colonial Pipeline was forced to shut down its entire network due to one of the biggest cyber attacks in the history of the energy industry. I have a firm belief, folks, that none of this is an accident. And these aren't just knucklehead kids. These are likely from China, and they're looking to completely destabilize the nation all at once. And 911 is going to go down. You're not going to be able to get an airplane ticket. You're not going to be able to get your prescriptions. All of that is going to go down. This is all a calculated dress rehearsal market.
Well, I don't remember the episode, but Mark Levin had one. Was it Dr. Peter Pitts? I don't remember his name, but talked about EMPs and the electrical grid in the water and how exposed we are. And boy, if you haven't seen that, that's an eye opener as well. So check that out. All right, let's do a little more sports for a wraps. Look what's going on. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the code. Anything else in sports you want to hit?
Just the scoreboard, Big D. Big games in the Bronx right now. The Yankees and Royals tied at 2, top of the 10th. And then up in Boston, the Orioles lead the Red Sox 3-2. Right now, the Orioles lead the Yankees by a half a game. So this is really important as we wind down. Just 15 games to go in the season. The pennant races are heating up now. Athletics over the Astros 5-3, bottom 6. Bottom of the first just underway. Padres and Mariners, no score. Giants and Brewers, the same deal. Bottom first, no score there. Pirates 3-1 over the Marlins at earlier today. Final, Guardians beat the White Sox 6-4, and I gave you some of these other scores as well earlier. Just one quick one. Lakers will honor Jerry West, one of the best to do it, this season with a number 44 uniform band. Fox Sports reporting the LA Lakers will honor Jerry West in the upcoming season with a uniform band featuring his number 44. The Lakers announced their plan yesterday to remember Jerry West, who died in June at the age of 86. The purple band on the left shoulder of the Lakers uniforms has number 44 in gold at the center. West played his entire 14-year NBA career for the Lakers, becoming one of the greatest scorers and most versatile guards of his era while earning 14 All-Star selections and the nickname Mr. Clutch. So the great Jerry West will be remembered on the court by the Lakers. Big D, that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
All right, last thing to get to is another one of the polls, and this time it was from Trafalgar Group after the debate last night. Trafalgar Group, in combination with Insider Advantage, did polling both before and after the debate last night to find out if there was any movement for the candidates. In short, there was no change whatsoever. Last night they posted their after the debate, in which they asked the 2024 respondents the following. Supporting for president before the debate, 47% Trump, 47% Harris, 2% others, 4% undecided. Who won the debate? 55% Harris, 43% Trump, 2% tie. Who are you now voting for? 48% Trump, 48% Harris, 1% others, 3% undecided. So literally after all of that, they got absolutely no difference in who people are voting for, which is, as we said, base election, base election, base election. All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here live from Studio 6B.